Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Being Your Own CEO. This is a weekly success circle for solo entrepreneurs, and we get together because we enjoy each other's company and because we like sharing ideas and information. And for me, it's all about giving and receiving support. My name is Lowell Ann, and I've been in business since 1996, helping people get where they want to go. So it's a good idea for us to be reminded of our operating principles before we begin. Relationships before business. And you can get everything in life and business if you help enough people get what they want. We attribute that to Zig Ziglar. We stand for positive possibilities and keep an open mind, and we never sell anything that we were not prepared to deliver impeccably. So we have a couple of people in the room with us this morning. Thank you for joining me, guys. Please introduce yourselves, say where you are and what you do, and share anything that's new. So you both arrived at the same time. So
I'll let Craig go. Craig can go first.
Okay, Craig, you go first.
Good morning. My name is Craig. I run a business called Who Marketing, and what we do is help people with their, basically small businesses with their online assets, and get people coming in the door because they find them online.
Aha, good morning. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Nice red.
Oh, I don't know what things look like at your end, but my video seems to be very choppy this morning, so we'll see what happens. So, good morning, Jay. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Hi, my name is Jay, and my company is Magi Studios. And what we do is we help locals get started in the world of online marketing. And we've released some software called the Magi Platform, which helps businesses manage their reviews on the internet and mitigate any potential negative reviews through our proprietary review system. Exciting news back from Hawaii, ready to go back. And,
already.
Yeah, and I'm also an affiliate marketer, and while I was down there, I discovered a small handful of great niche opportunities. So I'm in the process of building a couple of those, and I'm tracking my progress, and going to be reporting the progress inside a website called Wealthy Affiliate, which is a place where I teach internet marketing.
Right on. We'll be looking forward to seeing all of that. So I'm Lowell Ann. I work with solopreneurs, helping them become more efficient and improve their online presence. And what can I say? Oh, I've been doing some really fun things this week. I decided that I wanted to expand my reach a bit, so I've been playing a little bit over on Facebook. And got my selfie stick and tripod so that I could do some work with my my phone because I recognize that we are moving toward mobile at a very accelerated rate, I think. So I tried this. Well, I discovered that Facebook Live is not available to everyone as yet. And so I found something else called live stream, and I gave that a shot. Published a couple of things on my Facebook page, which I wasn't very happy with. But hey, I think everyone recognizes I'm in experimentation mode. So, yeah. something I discovered yesterday was that you can live stream on YouTube from your phone, and it's something that I hadn't discovered before, and I hadn't heard anybody else talking about it. So I'm going to be exploring that a little bit more. So I'm having fun. So good morning, Paul. How would you like to introduce yourself? Yeah. Oh, you're not muted, but we can't hear you. Ah,
Is that better?
yes, it is.
Oh, good. Good to know. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's all I got today.
Okay. You're welcome here. So this morning, I thought we could have a conversation about the Google ecosystem. And when I began to really look at that, I thought, holy smokes, there's a lot being offered to us out there by Google. So I thought it might be kind of fun for us to just begin by saying, or I might begin by asking, what do you find to be the most useful Google applications for your business? Anybody?
Wow, that's actually a really good question, and I think it really does depend on what sector of business you're working with. But if we're talking about Google, we're talking about online, and in my case, I think Google Webmaster tools or Google Search Console, I think is a highly, highly underestimated tool that Google provides you. A lot of people like to use Google Analytics, and I think that's great. So Google Analytics can basically tell you about the behavior of people on your site. But what Google Webmaster Tools does is it tells you how people got there and what keyword they used. So it basically shows you what keywords you are ranked for in the Google search results. And I think that's a really huge, valuable asset because it shows you how many times your listing, your search listing has been shown for a particular keyword, how many times people have actually clicked on that. So it gives you a conversion ratio, and then it shows you, the average search position that you're in. Now, the average search position is basically because if someone were to, if like my search would be different than your search results, and it's all based on how often you search various terms and a myriad of other things. But yeah, Google Webmaster Tools I think is a very underutilized tool that Google provides, and it'd be great to see more people using it because it literally is a tool it's like Google says, here, use my tool, use this. This way I can learn what pages are in your site, how often it's going to be, how often you add new pages, and so on and so forth. Very underutilized, but it is such a powerful asset to have, regardless whether you're doing local marketing or your local business, or if you're a large e-commerce site. Huge tool to have.
It strikes me that, and I've been in and out of Webmaster Tools, but I know that I really don't make the best usage of it. So that might be a really good topic for us to explore in a future session here. So I know that you know it inside out and backwards. And I found it kind of interesting because I sat down and made a big long list of all the things that I'm aware of and that I use, and neither one of those were in my list. So I'm so really glad that you brought that up. So how about you, Craig? What would you say is the most useful tool for you?
Well, I was going to go with the same tools that Jay's using just because I'm in there every day. But, it's not limited. If you're writing, the Google Drive is you can write documents, and you can even dictate your documents if there's a little add-on that basically does what Dragon Naturally Speaking does. It still needs some work, but it's there. But if you have keyboard issues, or if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, like a lot of people have, you can dictate your stuff. You can do spreadsheets in an Excel-like environment. You can do presentations like basically they have all of the tools that you need for an office, a back office, and you can share all this stuff with single people or multiple people, or it just simplifies working with others so much. It's amazing what you can do in Google Drive. Of course, for me, a lot of what I do is in Google My Business, which it's had a couple of permutations coming up. It used to be Google Places, and then it's changed hands a little bit. But for that, for small businesses and local businesses that want to get online, Google My Business is huge, and there are many pieces of that, including Google Maps, which you want to get on the map, that's the way to do it.
And the thing that I'm noticing, at least in this community, is there are more and more businesses showing up on Google Maps, but in the solopreneur world that I travel in this community, they're totally unaware of it. And the fact that people can go in and actually write a review right there on Google Maps for you, that's amazing.
Yeah, the reviews are very powerful, very powerful tool, and I think Google is underutilized for reviews. Yelp has that whole thing kind of sewn up. When people think reviews, they go to Yelp, but I think you get more power when the reviews are on Google. So you need to make that easy.
Just a quick thing on Yelp. I actually I think it depends on the business, like the niche or the category that the business falls under. I find that restaurants tend to go more the Yelp side, or patrons of restaurants tend to go more the Yelp side. And I actually think it also depends on where you are in the world. I think I find that people in the U.S. tend to visit Yelp more often than people in Canada. Really, because it's just far more popular in the U.S. than it is in Canada. So, and I think a lot of people lean towards using Facebook or Google Maps, for that matter. It's really dependent. Now, does that mean one is more important than the other? No, not at all. I think, in an order of importance, though, I think Google would be the most important, because the things that you do inside Google, or the things that you get your customers to do inside Google for your business, will greatly affect how your business is shown in the search engines. Having 20 reviews in Google has far more weight than having 50 reviews on Yelp, because those rating stars are far more likely to show up, especially when you get into the world of mobile.
Well, and that's interesting, because I don't think I've ever been on Yelp. If I'm looking for something, or I want to know something about a business, the first place I go is Google search. And my friend who does almost all of her scouting around from her phone was talking the other day about how she's looking for something in town now. She uses Google search the same way as we used to use the Yellow Pages, and is very happy with what she gets, because she'll type in something that she's looking for in the way of a business. Up pops a map, up pops everything that you really want. So it's it's really quite interesting. Craig, you talked about Drive, and as a solopreneur, I use all of those pieces that you talked about, but one that you missed that I've really started to play with lately is Keep. And I devised a system for managing my to-do lists using Keep. And the thing that we mustn't neglect to mention is that all of these things are accessible from whatever tool or device that you're using. So you can get all of these things from your phone, your tablet, or your desktop. I mean, it's just it's seamless. Like, you just, if it's in one place, it's everywhere else. So that makes things way more convenient. And of course, the other three things that I use exclusively is mail, calendar, and contacts. Totally couldn't, especially the contacts. I just couldn't function without without the contacts. So and of course, photos. We're starting to find that I use photos a lot more now that I want to post to Instagram or I want to post to somewhere. Photos is really useful too. But I mean, we're just talking. I mean, these things that we're talking about are just the kinds of things that you would use inside your business. But I mean, then of course, search. That's probably the most important thing. And then the next thing is YouTube. It's the second most important search engine, and you can find out how to do almost anything if you just go to YouTube. And but now what's really interesting to me is from a mobile perspective. I've been playing around trying to learn as much as I can about the way mobile is working and how it benefits those of us that use it, etc. And so I just discovered, I guess I said that live streaming. Yeah, I was able to record something from my phone in YouTube, and it was uploaded onto YouTube within a minute. And so, I mean, I mean, there are all these other things out there, but there's YouTube that's free and easy to use.
Were you on a Wi-Fi connection at the time, or were you just using your cellular data?
I was on a Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know why I didn't know that was there. I mean, I noticed in YouTube quite some time ago, there's this thing called live streaming in the menu, but I hadn't sort of connected that's exactly what it was. So and of course, if you've got a YouTube link, you can use that in Facebook or any of the other platforms. So so that's a really large thing, and we know that things are moving toward video so quickly right now that we need to have simple ways to do that. So I started playing with this week, maybe accompanying my weekly mindset blog with kind of a video aspect. So I'm going to play with that a bit, see what happens. So, and I mean, we've talked about Hangouts. I mean, right now we are on a Hangout, even though it is a business hangout. But Hangouts and Hangouts on Air, etc. These are incredible tools that that many of us have learned to appreciate. So, Paul, what about you? Do you use any of the Google products at all?
Why, yes, I do, Lolan. Probably what I find most useful is the ability to plop sort of integrated products right into the search bar. Often when I'm looking at things like CRMs that I want to use and stuff like that, I look for one that sort of sits on top of Gmail, so that because that's where a lot of businesses function, is in Gmail. So if their CRM sort of sits there and uses that function, I find that useful. I like the integration it has with things like Evernote. You can just click and pull stuff out. So just even that little search bar and being able to plop stuff into it, and it's there right at your fingertips, I find useful. Couple of things that you said, and Google Drive is another one that I use all the time, and the other one that that you mentioned, of course, is the address book. I find it. Never mind. That's a pet peeve. We'll forget that. One of the things you said about small businesses, solopreneurs, and using Google, that you were talking about people that you knew. One of the things that I find people are reluctant to do is to establish where they are, because they don't want people to know where they live, and they don't want to appear to be a small business. And I know where we live in Victoria, there's at least 4 or 5 places that are drop-in offices that you can also basically have an address there for minimal price, and that's often a solution that if you have a small business and you're operating it out of your home, you may want to just look at investing in something like that. That allows you then to have the presence that you want without sort of divulging that you're operating out of your house. And the other thing, when you were saying is you happened to mention about Google Keep. I recently read a blog about that.
Did you now?
Yes, I did. Do you know where that would have been, Lola?
Yes, I wrote a blog on that this week. Last week, my blog was about what does a perfect to-do list look like. So then I set about trying to create one for myself, and then I shared it too. So and I'm really pleased with it. So, but Google, for those who know something about Evernote, Google Keep is pretty much the same. Has all the same qualities. You can take pictures, you can do a voice activated item, etc., etc. So it's really quite a nifty thing. And the thing that I just love about all these things is that they all integrate together. I happen to have a Google Apps account, which I don't pay for. Because I got in on the ground floor before they started charging. But because of that, I mean, I can go in I can create a calendar, an appointment with somebody, and I can create that in there, send them an invitation, and within that invitation is a link to a Hangout if we're going to have an online meeting. So all these things all integrate together. I think it's just wonderful. So I wondered this morning if anybody knows about Google Local Guides. Have you guys found out about it at all?
Is that where you're a city expert? Is that the one that you're talking about?
Well, I signed up for it. I'm just playing with it, just for fun. But it seems that what they're doing is inviting you to hold a meetup and inviting people to take pictures and post them to Google Maps. Get their pictures. And the other thing that I've noticed is that, and this is something that I didn't know, Google has a meetup page or a meetup site that I've just discovered. I don't know very much about it yet, but I'm playing with it.
In general, the local guides is all about becoming your local expert. Going and visiting local businesses and reviewing those businesses on Google for them. And basically giving the businesses additional exposure in Google, and you know, helping Google My Business, the local, you know, your local ecosystem. So, you know, if you go to a restaurant, review them. If you go to a hotel out of town, review them. And when you get to a certain level of number of reviews, then you move up in the Google levels.
And you get access to other products.
Yeah, you become an authority for them. And
so it's really...
I have a question. If you were to use, and I know nothing about this except what you've just told me so far, Google Local Guides. If I, for example, had a hotel, and if I wandered around my hotel within say a 4 or 5 block radius and started reviewing stuff that was there, how would I put that information, how would I make that available for people who might be interested in staying at my hotel? In other words, how could I take that ambiance around my property and use it as a marketing tool? Can I do that through this local guide thing, do you think, Craig?
That's a great question.
No, I don't think so, but you could, on your website, showcase the surrounding local flavor, basically.
So I couldn't like link on my website to my local guide presence.
No, not really. Google Local Guides is more for not for business owners as it is for community ambassadors, basically. So people who are very in. But that being said, you could certainly find some of these community ambassadors, you know, like concierges, basically, and get them to review these recommended places within, you know, the close proximity of your hotel. At which point, then they can also do a local guide of your hotel, whereas then it kind of ties in all together from a second level perspective. So it's literally the same as greasing the palm of concierges and bellmen, you know, like, so if I own a whale watching company, I'm going to treat, you know, the bellman of that hotel a free ride on my whale watching tour, right? And say, hey, you know, if you just let us know if you want to recommend anyone, you know.
Yeah.
You're right.
Biff them.
So I just for the fun of it, I signed up for it, and I've created a meetup for Saturday morning for anybody who wants to come and take pictures at Willows Beach.
I'll be right there.
So we're going to go down, because Willows Beach has all kinds of beach architecture and all kinds of stuff that you could. It is already, Willows Beach is already on Google Maps, but for people who I noticed that in Google there are quite a few photographers around that like to post things, so I thought that would be an opportunity. And then I thought, well, perhaps we could go up to the village for coffee afterwards, and then we could do a little bit of a promo for the village.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
So I got to try it and see what happens.
So Google, so Lowell Ann, you've created this. How do I know about it? Like, how does how does
I,
the information about the meetup get disseminated?
I
Do I have to
post
go there and look for it, or?
I posted it in the Google community, by the Victoria Google community. Yeah.
So if I wasn't looking there, I wouldn't
You
find it,
probably
right?
wouldn't. No,
Okay.
I mean, like I say, I'm just playing with this. I can't tell you all the details yet.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah. Something else that has popped up for me was I became very much aware locally that a number of small businesses, people have a smartphone, but they really haven't any idea how to make use of it. And as we participate with all these Google products, you begin to realize that that's moving in the mobile direction more and more and more. And so I discovered a tool that allows me to use connect my phone to my computer so that I can show what's on the screen of my phone. So I thought I might show you guys that and see what you think about it. Let's see if I can do it. I had it up before, but I found that it was. Let's see if it'll work. Yeah. So let's go there, and let's see if I can do a screen share now. Yeah. Share. So if I were wanting to kind of show everybody what's going on from a mobile perspective, I can use this tool to show the whole Google ecosystem on your phone.
So that's live?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And
so
you refer to this tool. Give us a hint.
What's it called? It's called Google Cast. So what you do is, I had to go to a company called Reflection. It's a little program that you download to your computer, and then you get Google Cast on your phone, and it links the two things up together. So I was thinking to myself, well, if I wanted to, let's say, give a little course on how to make use of all these little tools, then I could make use of this, and so I can actually go and see what notifications I have. I could demonstrate how to make use of all of these things.
That's great. That's
really a little
cool.
course.
I've never
Isn't
seen
this
that
cool?
before. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to reposition the phone on the screen to, because right now we see it and it's right in the middle, and then there you go, perfect.
And not only that, but just a minute now. I don't know if I can do this. Let's see. Yes, I can. Look. Can you see that now?
Well, we see it's only the phone.
Only the phone. Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's so now what I have to discover is how to get you back. Okay, here it is.
Well, then the question would be, can you put the phone over on the side and have you talking in the background?
Yeah. So, could I put it? I don't know. I'll have to play with that a little bit.
It's the screen that you're showing us now, plus
Yeah.
have the phone in the upper left-hand corner.
Say again?
If you could show us the image that you're showing us now, which is you talking on your computer, and then put the phone up in the upper left-hand corner so that you could talk about what's going on the phone. People can see it, and they can see you as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. I think when you're using screen share here, it shares the whole thing, doesn't it? So I don't think within this platform that you can do that. Not sure though. Another question.
I can see how that.
Worthy of research.
I can see how that would be very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was something that I discovered, and because, like I say, I mean, when you look at all of the things that you can do on your phone, and know that they're all the same things that you can do on your desktop. Again, I mean, it's just back and forth. So. Anyway.
That's really wild. That's great. I like that.
So, I guess you can see I've had a fun week.
Yeah, no doubt.
It'll be interesting to see how the Apple ecosystem integrates into that, because I know that you're on Android.
Yes, I am. And yeah, I mean it's. And of course, all of this happened because, yes, we know how to do all of this stuff and share all of this stuff inside of Google+. But I kind of made the decision that I wanted to expand my reach a bit, and went over to Facebook and started up a group there, and started playing around to see, how does this and that and the other thing work over there, and what things are transferable, etc. So,
Lolam, where did you get that?
it was called Reflect. Just a sec now. It's called Reflector 2.
Yeah, from Air Squirrels.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, and according to this, Greg, it does work with iPhones. It says easily mirror or stream from an iPad, iPhone, or Android device without wires.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I think for me, in terms of serving solopreneurs, it's going to be important to help people figure out how to make the best use of their phones. The best and more use of their phones. Yeah. I went to a function this week and kind of asked around, what is it about this group? Why do they not go and do various things? And the answer I got was, we don't know how and haven't got time to figure to go and learn it. So, and that's a kind of a dangerous thing for a small business to be saying, I'm not, I don't have time to stay current.
So how did you address that?
Well, I haven't addressed it yet, but I'm about to.
Okay.
So that was why I went looking for something that would allow me to share what's on the phone. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna work for app demonstrations.
Yeah.
It'll be useful for some of the things we do. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad my fun week benefited somebody else.
When you have fun, other people always benefit.
I think you're right there. I really think you're right there. The more I listen to other people talking about things like there's a whole lot of stuff happening now that people are exploring what's aging all about. There's just seems to be a big bunch of things coming up. I don't know whether it's on just because I'm on Facebook or whatever.
It's about denial.
Pardon?
It's about denial.
Well, I suppose you could look at it that way, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of research coming out that talks about, just the kinds of things that we want to be doing and so forth. But I've stumbled on 2 or 3 places on Facebook where people are actually exploring what it's like to age, and what do you need to be doing as you age, and all of those things. And so I think maybe it said something about the changing demographic of Facebook. I don't know. Anyway, so if getting back to the Google ecosystem, if we want to be expanding out into other platforms, we need. It seems as though, for example, if you're going to go with video, you need to use YouTube and directly, and then go that route. So, yeah, I think I think over the coming year, coming 6 months, you're going to see a lot of changes happening.
Yeah. I think one thing I wanted to mention about Google My Business, which what Craig was talking about, is that they've recently released their code called API, which allows developers and code nerds to build their own app or software. So I mean, this is great for me, because what I've done is I've built a system that gives you the opportunity to have reviews come into your system and stuff like that. And so it's great. I just hope they don't pull the rug under my feet, and take it away. But so I mean, and I really like that. I really like that about Google, is that they build something, make it stable, and then go, all right, well, here's the code. So if you want to make something cool and put a layer on top of what we've already done, that's great. So now I have the ability for my clients to reply to their Google reviews right within our dashboard of the Magic platform.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great. So that way you don't have to leave the platform, go log into your Google account, and so on and so forth. It also gives you the ability to have managers who don't directly have login access to your Google account the ability to reply to these reviews. So that's fantastic, and I really, really like that. Because it gives the ability to make the product even better, customize it for you and your clients. So.
Well, and isn't that exactly what has happened here with the Hangout? I mean, this business Hangout is a Google Hangout wrapper.
Yep.
And it has all these other features that make it even more convenient for someone to use. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you mentioned the business Hangout. I got an email the other day I got an upsell email from Business Hangouts.
Did
and
you?
It was I did, yeah. It was the most vague upsell that I'd ever received. It was a picture of a lion, I think, and it just said time to upgrade to professional or whatever, and then it had a picture of a lion, and then it just said do it, and that's it.
Well, the business was sold, and the new guy is just now starting to experiment and do things. So.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. I tried to look up that company, Ruru or something. I didn't really find much information about that company.
Well, and I've only seen one person. I've gone to the they have a business office hours every Friday, where if you've got any questions, or you don't know how to do something, or you've got any recommendations, you can come in. So I go just to hear what other questions anybody else might have.
Okay.
Yeah. So But the one of the original fellows is still there. He's kind of running the hosting the Hangout. But then the guy who bought it seems to be who comes in as well. So fellow by the name of Gary. So yeah. Anyway, I've noticed a few changes on the website for the better. So they're slowly making some improvements, I think. But yeah, that's interesting. You got the upsell. I must ask about it. Maybe the next time I'll go in and ask what does the lion represent?
Yeah, it's very obscure.
Yeah.
Remind me of Stratton Oakmont.
Right. So have we covered all of the things we need to cover in the Google ecosystem?
Well, I mean, there's so many things that Google does in terms of apps and its ecosystem. Other things that we haven't really mentioned are Google Alerts.
Yes, absolutely.
Google Trends. In terms of research.
You say a little bit more about alerts, because I really wonder if everybody would know what they are.
Yeah, so Google Alerts, basically it's a system. It's google.com/alerts, and basically what it does is you enter in keywords that you tell Google, please search your search engine for this word, and every time that this word comes up in new things that you find, please send me an email. So, for example, in Paul's case, so let's say we type in Google Alerts CRM, or CRM integration. So, and then it basically says, well, where do you want us to look for this information? You could say in Google Search, blogs, news, video, and so on. So if you check all of them, and then it says, well, how often do you want us to alert you? It could be, at the time it discovers it, or once a day, once a week, and so on. So, so every time Google finds a new piece of content that has the word CRM integration, it would then email Paul, at which point it says, hey, we found an alert for you for that keyword. Here's the source. And it would be like a Google News item where it says, ProsperWorks now has CRM integration into their Gmail. At which point then Paul can kind of go like, oh, cool, awesome. So another strategy to use would be to find your business's name. Maybe people are mentioning your business or your name, in a personal blog of theirs or something like that. So it's a really good application to put your ear to the internet ground for terms that you want to kind of find and discover.
And find out if anybody is mentioning you or using any of your stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The other thing that, as you were saying that, I thought, oh my goodness, yes. There's a number of other things that we haven't really talked about, and that's Google Chrome, for heaven's sake. My goodness, how could we neglect that one?
Yeah.
And the other piece that I find very, very interesting and useful, and maybe Paul, that's what you were referring to when you said adding to the menu bar, is all those extensions, all those various things that you, for example, I have an Evernote extension in there. So if I'm on the internet, and one of the ways one of the things I use Evernote for is recipes. Okay. So if I find a recipe that I really like, I can click that Evernote extension, and up will pop something that will say, do you want to do the whole page as you see it, or minimize so that it just has the recipe or whatever, and I can tell it which of the notebooks that I want to save it to, and it does it. So there's I probably have, I don't know, two, four. It would take me too long to count. I probably have about 30 or 40 extensions up there. Not all of them all active all the time, but and they're really useful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's
Yes.
another aspect item that Google provides.
I have to jump out, folks. I have to jump out a little early here. I'm going to try to get Tragically Hip tickets, which are on sale at 10 a.m.
Oh, right on.
Good hunting.
Yeah, well, they've released another about another 100. So
They
I've
said
got.
maybe 500 to 800
Oh, really? For the
on an
Victoria show?
interview. Yeah, they're going to do a 360 show, so they've opened up all of that area.
I have no problem looking at their backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a couple sources that are going to be trying, so it's
Yeah.
so we'll
And
see what
Jay,
happens.
they also said don't put in more than 2 tickets.
Yeah, they said 2 is max. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I have lots of people
Yeah,
who
got
are
it.
going to be.
So, Jay, would you be up for helping us learn more about Webmaster tools next time?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I'm more
That
than
would
happy
be
to.
great. Yeah.
And
I
you're
think I'm
around
intending.
today, Jay, if I'll check in with you later?
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Okay.
Say in 11 o'clock would be fine.
Excellent.
After you get the tickets.
Exactly.
I'll tell by your voice.
Yeah. Okay, folks, have yourself a great day.
Good luck.
Bye.
Ciao.
Well, I think we've, unless either of you have any other ideas about the way you make use of Google products.
So,
Anything?
Lillian, there was a release recently with an integration to Google Drive and Evernote, that now your Evernote will take you right to your Google Drive document. I thought that was pretty swift.
Yes, that's. I think I did see that. Yeah. Yeah. It's. I mean, all these connectors are just making life so much easier. Wow. But I do wonder for somebody just starting out with a new Android phone or deciding to do something like it would be difficult to know where to begin.
Well, you have to work backwards, reverse engineer it.
Yeah.
What do you want your phone to do? Okay, here's ways we can make that happen for you. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
So, Craig, what about you? Anything you would like to add?
Well, I basically, when I sign on in the morning, I turn on Google, and it pretty much stays on in the background all day for me. So it's one of those ubiquitous things where I use it often and find the tools just to be exactly what I need in most cases. Um, and I'm just flabbergasted that there was stuff that I didn't know about. I'd heard about Google Keep, but I was under the impression that it was a mobile app and that it wouldn't be very useful for me from a desktop. It looks like that's not the case.
No, it's
And
great.
I also went to the Google Meetup, and I noticed that it has the same logo as Meetup, and I'm wondering if they purchased Meetup.
I wondered about that too, and I thought, wow.
Because it's identical branding to what Meetup had. So
Well, Meetup is still there.
well,
Yeah. So maybe
they didn't copyright the logo, and Google just said, "Oh well, it's ours."
Well, so I think it may be time for us to wrap up today's conversation with a reminder that I provide a variety of resources for solopreneurs. On Google+, there's Being Your Own CEO community and supports for solopreneurs collection. And of course, don't forget about my website, lowaland.com. And please do get to know the guests in my green room because they do some pretty great stuff as well. So this is Lowell Ann signing off for this week.